So welcome to Sharing Hope. And my name is Jamie George, and our guest today is Mr. Phil Joel. For over 2 decades, this New Zealander has been a mainstay in Christian music with his band, the Newsboys. He has been a bass player, vocalist. He's been a solo artist, 6 solo records, 10 #1 CCM hits, gold records, Grammy nominations. I hope you'll talk a little bit about the book you just wrote, which is great. Yeah. Redwoods in Wales. Who designed that for you, by the way?
It was a collaborative little affair with between the people at Emanate Books, Thomas Nelson, and Heather, my beloved.
That's amazing. She has a gift for design.
She does. She's into it. Yeah, she's into it.
So good. Yeah, it's been crazy, but good, man. It's been a rowdy time. You know, my wife in the middle of the coronavirus, my wife had a procedure for cancer, and I don't know if you remember, we had some of that, but it went well, and as well as it could go.
Yeah.
And so she's healing, and we're doing great, and hanging out with kids.
How did that feel, like being in a hospital at this time in history?
It was strange. Like one whole wing was completely shut down. So like any elective surgeries are off the grid, right?
Okay.
So it felt like a ghost town. There were only 2 people on our floor. So that was crazy.
Yeah.
And although we had a lot of attention, our nurse was amazing.
Cool.
And they literally walked me up to the room, told me, sit here and don't leave.
Yeah.
And there I was, and through that day and the next day, But she did great, and she's healing up, and so we're doing well. How about you?
Good, man. Yeah, all is well. I'm just like everyone. Oh, I'm out of a job. I'm unemployed. I like my job.
I just got off the phone with Mabes, and or did an interview with Paul Mabry, and he, we're all just talking about, and Mark Stewart. We talked as well. And if you're in the entertainment industry or music industry, it's a new world right now. So I'm asking everybody, so how are you coping? What are you doing with your time? Are you making music with the kids?
I'm making music.
I'm nice.
Yeah, I've had a batch of songs for about 2 years that I've been really wanting to record. I've wanted to make a new solo record, and I haven't been able to. And I was getting ready to sort of start looking into, who was going to produce it and whatnot. And then this whole thing happened. And so it's forced me into my room. So my room is, see if you can see what's going on behind me. It's a little space that I have.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah.
Stuff in.
That's not a bad place to be quarantined.
Yeah. So I'm kind of, but it's going great. I'm getting to work on these songs, but
so are you going to produce it yourself?
Well, yeah, here's the thing, we've got all these buttons and stuff, and
it's a lot of buttons.
How to use it, Jamie. But I'm working it out as I go. And this is what I figured out. A lot of people have taken this time to learn something. And so for me, I'm learning how to engineer and push the faders and do what someone else normally does. And it's going okay. It's going pretty well.
I love it. That's kind of fun. You're learning a new craft.
I am. It's trial by fire. Yeah.
Your monitor mix guy is going to be like, I wish you didn't learn that, because I didn't really want your opinion.
Right. Yeah. I'm going to leave a little more 5K in there. A little more, No, I'm going too much. I know just enough to be dangerous right now.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, well, by the way, be thinking about this while we're talking. But if there's something you can play for us, that would be pretty magical. I don't have anything ready, but that'd be awesome. So think about that. Yeah, think about that while we're talking. Okay, so here's my here's kind of the question I'm asking everybody, which has been fascinating. And you know how I am about stories. I love stories. So in your story, can you go back to another time where kind of you were in a season of uncertainty, like we all are today, and you didn't really know what was going to happen? Like, if there was a chance for anxiety and fear to come up, this was it. Can you go back to a place in your story with that kind of uncertainty and talk about what was challenging about it and how did you get through it?
Yeah. Well, stuff happens, doesn't it? And I remember, man, what was it? Probably about 5 years ago, there was a season in life that was just very uncomfortable. Things weren't going the way that we had foreseen them going. And I won't get into the specifics of what was going on maybe, but certain things were just not looking good. And it's like, oh man, what is going on? And one of the things that my wife and I have done for, it's 19 years now. Every day we just sort of get up and get some coffee and just find a space in the house. And lately, when the mornings have been nice, we'll sit on the front porch and we'll just we'll spend some time praying, talking, opening up our Bibles, reading, and reading our Bibles or reading other things at different points. But just being still and meditating on what it is we feel the Lord wanting us to hear and think about. And, it's kind of the good old-fashioned quiet time, I guess, as us fine evangelicals call it. But one time, so we're in this space. And the cool thing about doing that is if you put yourself in this space every morning to hear from God, and you're trying to, beyond just your everyday, just moving through the day, trying to interpret what it is the Lord's saying and what, trying to be a fully integrated spiritual being, those times when you set aside some time, it's pretty important because, man, it just avails yourself to really hear something. And so one morning, things were hitting the fan, man. And we were reading Jeremiah 17, and there were a couple of verses in there that just smacked us. Jeremiah 17, 7 and 8. Blessed is the man who trusts in the Lord, whose hope is in him, because he'll be like a tree planted by the river. And when the heat comes, he will not be afraid. And in the year of drought, he will not be anxious, but rather his leaves will get greener and he will bear much fruit. And it just kind of, it just hit us. And we realized in that moment, you know what? Okay, whatever we do, whatever goes on, whatever happens around us, whatever is swirling, we're going to just put a stake in the ground and we're going to say, hey, God, we trust you. We don't trust what we see. And it allowed us to start to breathe a little deeper, okay, let's just trust them. And because it's this promise that when we trust God and we do our best to walk in his ways, things can get greener, even though things seem like they're getting drier and crunchier and dark. You can actually get fresher in the midst of that. And
did you feel something literally shift in your body? Like, I mean, is there, like, for you guys, when you sit and do that, is it is there a physical response to that?
Yeah, I find myself breathing deeper. When things aren't going, when I'm focused on things that are trying to get at me, that are trying to come, that are trying to get me, I breathe shallow. I'm just like, I'm just not. And when I get still and when I go, hang on, let's walk this thing out by faith, not by sight. Let's get back in the right place, and when I do that, oh man, I feel like I can breathe deeper. And so I do. I feel it physically, in my chest.
Yeah. I relate to that so much, the shallow breathing thing, man. That's the first sign that I'm like, I don't know it in my mind, but my body's telling me something. My feeling usually takes me a couple days to catch up with what I'm actually feeling. My body's like, ding, 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 something's going on.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
that silence and meditation and prayer, it's calibrating. Like
Yeah.
somehow you're getting a little more congruent. I liked how you said that, like a spiritually integrated being. I hope we do that through the day, but that moment of intent helps
Yes.
kind of and slows everything down.
Yeah, and we have to, I mean, the Bible's pretty clear on that, being still and knowing that God is God and he wants to be known. And I don't mean to bring this into, just so happens to write a book about it. I didn't mean to bring this in, but it's.
No, but this has been a passion for you in the recent years, hasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, we all get off track and we all start breathing shallow, and we all need this. We all find ourselves disoriented and sort of, disillusioned at times, and not sure where we're at and where we're going. And so I had this experience once up in Northern California when I was taking a walk along a beach, and I was it was late at night and it was really dark, and I went to walk around a big pile of rocks, and as I did, I realized they're not rocks. This is a whale on the beach.
What?
Yeah, this is a beached whale, and it had died, but it was just kind of eerie. It felt wrong. It wasn't meant to be there, and I did a little homework later on, and I found out even though this thing was massive, it was a juvenile. It was a teenage whale. And these whales, they migrate from Alaska down to Mexico, and at a certain point, often something will catch their eye, Jamie, and they'll just be like, "Wah," and they'll head off. They'll start following something they're not meant to be following, and before they know it, they're on the beach, breathing shallow and dying slowly. And I thought, man, whoa, that's me. That's me sometimes, just like, not sure where I am, breathing shallow, and having to get myself back into a place of going, hang on, Lord, what happened? Where am I? Help me recalibrate, help me get oriented, help me get back in the flow of who I am, and the flow of who I am belongs with you. And so
has this practice going, Heather, or maybe it's her idea, I don't know, but whichever one of you was like, we're going to get on the front porch, we're going to do this each morning, we're going to be intentional. Would you say that's been instrumental in transforming how you show up in the world?
Oh yeah, honestly, we started doing this 19 years ago. We started doing this at a time when I was really desperate for more of. I needed God, man. I needed God in my life, not just churchianity, not just whatever. I needed the reality of God in my life, and I thought, man, if you can really be known, I'm going to start coming after you, and it takes a little bit of feist sometimes, Really get a little ticked off occasionally to kind of go, hang on, there's something, I'm getting ripped off here, I'm not I'm not the place I should be. I'm just, this is a counterfeit, and so we began that practice and getting up a bit earlier and trying to be still and opening up our hearts. And I think that's, probably the most important thing, just opening up our hearts and opening up our ears and saying, God, here we are, speak to us. And
what do you say to the folks who go, hey, I've tried that. I've tried it for years, but I don't feel anything. I don't, it's kind of like I'm asking, but I'm not getting any answers. What do you say to folks who try to give it a shot and struggle with it?
Totally. Yeah, I get it. Sometimes it can be a struggle, but I think we have to take a few things into account. It's a bloody noisy world out there, Jamie,
Yes.
And we've got a lot of stuff swirling in our heads and in our hearts, and there are a lot of things coming at us, and we have our phones and our computers and all of these voices and all of this social networking and whatnot, and we have so much noise and so much static going on that we don't take time to be consistently still. That's what's kind of awesome about this. Honestly,
right.
I said this, and maybe I shouldn't, I said this together. I said, oh, I think I'm going to miss COVID. And at the moment I said, oh, no, don't say that,
But the quarantine itself, right? Like it's forcing us into a collective pause as a planet. Like we have a chance for a pivot if we would really do it, right?
Yeah, I really hope a lot of us. I know I won't. I'm not going to go back to life as usual. I'm really not. And but we can use this time really well, because we're forced into this place of isolation. And sometimes that's the best place for us to be. Sometimes
what's been an unexpected? You said you're not going to be the same. What's been an unexpected kind of blessing in it with you and Heather, or the kids, or being at home? Like, what's been something? Obviously, of the producing, and now you're an expert engineer. But what's been a kind of an unexpected? Like, wow, I didn't see that coming. But this is like over the last 4 weeks. This has been pretty cool.
Yeah, I've been walking a lot.
Huh.
I've been walking, and my parents are in their 80s now, or my dad is, and my mother's about to turn 80, and they walk, and they're in New Zealand, where I'm from, and they are fit, man. They're sprightly. They just keep moving, and the walking thing is something about it, and so I've been out there just walking, and it's just been a good place just for my mind and my spirit, and for my body. And that's the reality is they're all connected too,
Totally. No, and I've heard there's a thing like a left-right thing. There's literally like part of the brain. There's the stepping, the left. There's some. I'm not intelligent enough to describe it, but something about the left-right mechanism of your body back and forth is supposedly a calibrating thing that brings peace. I don't know.
Really?
Yeah, it's the thing. I was going to ask you about your parents. Like, how are things in New Zealand? Are they okay? Are they safe?
Yeah, they're locked up like we are.
Okay.
Yeah. They've taken it very seriously, and they're very serious about public health and about things like that down there. So they've I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Good.
Yeah. But you know what, isn't it interesting? I mean, I've spoken to family and I've spoken to friends, and I've found myself not wanting to get off the phone.
Wow. Well, when's the last time you felt that?
You know what I mean? Like usually I'm like hustling to do something else.
Yeah.
Like, so how's how's your back? How you doing? I don't know what it is,
Was there any ailment you wanted to talk
about? Right. That's been fun. I really enjoyed just taking my time with some friends and family a little more on the phone and just FaceTime, and I want to keep doing that.
Yeah.
I want to every day maybe connect with somebody I haven't connected with in a while, and just reach out and just let them know I'm still alive,
Yeah. Now we've talked about this. You guys chose as a family, the social media thing for you was a distraction. So it was one of the things you said, hey, as a family, we're going to be intentional and replace that with face-to-face and with other types of communication. And so from a certain perspective, you and Angie and I have talked about you guys. You and Heather inspire us. We're like, gosh, there's such examples on how you're so intentional with, to me, some of the details of living. And I was curious. It feels like you're pretty good at maintaining a healthy pace in life anyway. Does this feel like it threw you, or do you feel like, at a certain perspective, we've kind of been so intentional with our time anyway, this is not necessarily thrown us off?
Yeah, I think the main difference I feel is not having the pull from everyone else, because everyone else is in the same situation.
Right.
This, and oftentimes when you try and be, just keep it still. You're always feeling like, I know someone's going to be calling, or I know I need to do this, or that's, there's always this feeling like you should be doing something else,
Totally.
But I'm not feeling that. So that's kind of a nice thing. But yeah, we did at a certain point, like with Newsboys years back, we were touring a lot. and then I had a solo project or two of those at the time, and I was being, I felt pressure to be touring that as well, and we had a young family, and I was just doing too much, and I was gone too much, and we were just burning the candle at both ends, and it just wasn't healthy, and so we called it. I was just like, okay, that's it. I love you guys, Newsboys guys, but it's time for me to step away, and it's time for me to just slow down, and it's time for me to focus on some of the things I need to focus on, and really reboot and see what new ministry kind of stuff comes out of it. And that was kind of scary, but it felt really good. But that was
now that was uncertainty, right? Like that's a picture of like, hey, what's going to happen next?
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was terrifying, but it was but it felt right, when you feel like, nah, I got to make a move. I need to be pretty radical in about facing my life. I think that's what Jesus was calling people to, is calling them, and John the Baptist, like, repent, for the kingdom of God is at hand. He's saying, hey, you're going the wrong way, man. You're jacking this thing up. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your life. And you need to turn this thing around and head in another direction, head in the direction of hope and truth and life. And that's what Jesus is promising and still does. And he says, and so some of us need to repent, we just, and that means just going, I'm doing some things that aren't healthy, that aren't right. And I'm spending my time on things that are just not fruitful and are not just eroding my soul. I got to turn this thing around. I got to go the other direction.
And it's times like this that we really do have an opportunity to pause, reflect, do an evaluation, like take inventory.
Yeah, take personal inventory. I mean, you look at Genesis 3:9 talks about when God roams through the garden. In the story, he says he's talking to Adam, and he's calling out to Adam, and Adam in the story has fallen apart, and he's going, Adam, where are you? And all that God is saying to him in that moment is, just come out from hiding, man, and just tell me where you're at. And not that I don't know, of course I know where you're at, but take stock, take personal inventory of where you are, and maybe we can redirect this thing, and we can. We can. I've had times when I've had to absolutely throw out the anchors, man, pull on the brakes, and just change directions, because I've been going the wrong way, and it happens to all of us.
Yeah,
it happens to all of us.
And it pulls some of the judgment off it, right? When you normalize it, like it pulls all the shame, because that's what happened with Adam, right? He gets lost in shame to go. Yeah. No, this is the human condition. This is like the whale. Like we are going to get distracted.
We are. Yeah.
And we're going to some self-compassion that says, take some time and just reflect. And really, repentance is a choice in the moment. It's really not that big a mountain to climb. You just make a choice.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that's the awesome thing about life. We have choice.
Yeah.
We can choose. Okay, we're going that way, and we're going to go this way. We can make choices. We can choose things that are going to bring us life, or not.
Yeah. No, in the coaching with people, when it seems overwhelming, one of the things I talk to them a lot about is just take what's the next right choice. And it's a time like this, whenever we have no idea when the band's going to be lifted. We don't know what's going on. It's like, well, you can wake up in the morning and you make the choice that's in front of you.
Yeah.
It takes all the overwhelm out of it and just go, what's one good choice you can make?
Totally. Yeah. Yeah.
What have you done anything with? I'm curious. Anything with the kids or with Heather that like a game, or is there a show, or is there something fun? Do you guys sit around and play music together? Like what are you doing to entertain yourselves?
What if I told you we just finished Tiger King? Would that be wrong? Oh, that show! It's so crazy.
Oh my gosh! What's funny is, so I was in Thailand about 5 years ago, and they have tiger cages there. So I slept with a tiger. I went in and and it was like one of the highlights of my life. Which I don't know if that's bad. I watched Tiger King thing, and now maybe I shouldn't have done that, but I did, and it was incredible. And Carol Baskin would not have been happy with me, but boy, it was. To sit there and hold a tiger was pretty incredible.
Man, there's a whole lot of people living a whole lot of different lifestyles out there.
Yeah. Yes. Didn't it make you appreciate the flavor of humanity? Like you're just like,
Yes.
totally.
Yeah, I know. And as wild as those people are in that show, they're all really sweethearted people too. I was
Yes.
kind of go, oh, you're a sweethearted dude. You're kind of crazy, but that's your kind of crazy. And
And we got our kind of crazy.
we got our kind of crazy. Yeah. I don't know. We haven't picked up anything wildly new. We've we've been doing my son has a little studio in the house and he's working on music, and my daughter is a film student, so she's working on little film things.
Ah, fun.
Yeah, and then my son's been out here helping me with music. He's 16 and he knows more than I do already, So he's been helping me on certain things.
I love it.
Yeah.
All right, so
Yeah.
you got a song for us? Is there something you've been working on?
What? I do. Just we didn't plan this, but I wrote a song. I wrote this song a while back, probably a couple of years ago, and it was when I was getting kind of it was really upsetting me how there was so much the division in the country, and division in the world, just people shaking fists at one another, and just and then recently I've heard this phrase, and the phrase that I've been hearing is the chorus of this song. We're all in this together. We're all in this thing, man. We're all just riding everyone. We're all just riding this planet together, just trying to avoid this tiny little virus, and we're all just trying to get through this, and we're wanting to look out for each other, and looking out for each other right now is staying at home, and we're doing what we can, the masks and the gloves and the whatnot, and it's kind of cool, and that we don't want to get sick, but we're also saying, hey, I don't want you to get sick either, man. So let me help. Yeah. And so hope maybe learns a big lesson, that maybe we can figure out how to carry one another's burdens, as opposed to just continually, shake fists or put more burdens on one another's shoulders. So I wrote this song, and I've been trying to record it, and it's going to be on a solo record that I'm going to release. Can you hear the guitar?
No, it sounds beautiful. Yeah.
Good. Okay. Well, everybody wants to be a part of something bigger. Yeah, that's why we're here. I'm no exception, my dear. And everybody wants to live a life beyond themselves. We all know deep down we're all connected somehow, 'cause we're all in this together. Yeah. There has got to be a way for us to live in peace down here. Can we dismantle our fears and collect each other's tears? And there has got to be a way for us to see each other beyond the pictures they paint, beyond the shouting and blame. 'Cause we're all in this together. We're all in this together. And we're all in this together. Party lines, ticket signs. Tell me now, are we gonna be alright? Love is blind, we're alive. We got to keep on trying. Oh. we're alive. We've got to keep on trying. Something like that. I ran out of room. I ran out of room for the end there.
Oh, that's amazing. Please record it soon.
I'm trying, Jamie.
Oh, that's what you have your 16-year-old for.
That's right. That's right. Have you ever read the book, The War of Art?
Yes, I have, as a matter of fact. Stephen Pressfield.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Oh, it's the only way I got through my first book. Honestly.
Really?
Oh, yeah,
Oh.
because I would be like this. I can't
Yeah.
write another thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, when he says resistance isn't out to wound you, it's out to crush your soul.
Yeah, I feel that. I felt that a couple times today. Yeah.
That's incredible. Like, I mean, what else has to happen to it?
Oh, yeah, well, you know, drums and bass and guitar and keys and vocals, just a few bits and pieces. Yeah, I'm getting it. It's coming along. My problem is I like so much music. I like so many styles of music that sometimes I don't know what my style of music is. You know,
Yeah.
and that's why people generally don't produce their own stuff.
Yep.
Because too close to it.
Yeah, makes sense.
So I get different opinions and whatnot, and even then you're like, which ones should I listen to?
It's really awesome, brother. Love it, man.
Well,
I mean, it's so dang timely. That's the thing, man. Like,
yeah,
so
yeah.
timely.
We're all in this thing together, you know. And I just think whether we agree with each other, believe the same, look the same, you know, even act the same, we can love each other. You know, that's what we're called to. We're called to love one another, even our enemies.
Yeah.
Jesus, love your enemies. What are you talking about? You know, yeah, love the people that don't like you very much, you know, and do your best to bless them and be a blessing to them as opposed to being a curse to them, you know.
Yes.
And we're just watching, we're watching some weird stuff go on politically now, and it's only gonna get crazier. So hopefully we can all just take a little step back, and maybe this whole thing is going to pad our souls a little bit and slow us down and give us a little cause for pause before we say.
Yes. And you're right. If there was ever a time to look and go, the human condition is literally in the exact same space at this moment. All 7 billion of us.
Yeah. Yeah.
If we could just see the sameness, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
You captured it, though. I mean, that lyric captures it all. So
good. Well, I'll be.
So bravo. Press through the resistance.
Yeah. I shall.
I'll call you for pep talks.
Yeah, I need to call you for pep talk every now and then, because I mean, honestly, just before it was like nearly 5 o'clock. I was like, because I was getting crushed. The resistance was just pounding on me. I was like, I got to talk to Jamie. Yeah, well, this is good. This will be a good distraction. So great, man. Thanks for doing this.
Man, thank you too, and thanks just for being who you are, man. Just know the light shines for me, brother, and I'm grateful for it.
Oh, thanks, man.
Hey, if folks wanted to follow up and just find the book or your music or anything like that, where would they go?
Yeah, philjoel.com.
Okay.
I think is the best, and I'm going to start sending out some things, and you know, because I don't do social media, but I'm going to start sending out some good old emails. You know, send out.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And let people know I'm making this record, and hopefully it'll be helpful for people.
Do you have a timeline in your head when you want it to come out?
I want it to be out in 2 months.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm gonna. That's my goal. I really, because if I do spend too long on it, I'll just get caught in the weeds. And I feel I've just got to get it out and get it done and get it made, and send it out into the world. And because I do feel like some of the songs are quite timely messages.
Yeah, they are. Yes. Even
though I've written them over the course of the last couple of years, you know. Yeah. So I think
this is one of the things I say in my coaching. We need a structure. You need a deadline.
Yeah.
You need a mentor or someone to be accountable to. That's how change happens. And
Hang on.
and Pressfield talks about some similar things in the War of Art, but you got to have a structure. You got to have a structure, deadline, and mentor or trainer. And the trainer basically is the person, they're goosing it along and they're holding you accountable to get it done.
Deadline and hang on, what was the last one?
Structure, deadline, mentor.
Mentor.
It's hard to affect change without those three things.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. That's
2 months.
Good. 2 months. And now I've made myself accountable. Oh, no. I love it.
So good to see you, brother.
All right. Love you, man.
Love you too.